Welcome to part 6 of my How to Play Hearthstone 4 tutorial series. Today we're going to be going over trade and resources, and we're going to be playing as France once more. Now this is going to be a really short video because trade is not very complicated, at least when you understand it. And let's get started off the bat. So I'm going to start by opening our production tab. Now you see all of our factories and dockyards are already doing their job, they're all assigned, but you see we've got a minus 10 oil up here in the top left. Now how could we be losing oil? How do we not have enough? Well, to find out, there's a map mode down here in the bottom right section are all our map mode buttons. We're going to go ahead and click the resource map mode button. So when I click it, you notice that all of our resources and our states light up. So we know exactly what each of our states produces. And in enemy states and other countries' states. So in case you need to take someone's oil, you can know where to find it. Then you'll also notice these dotted lines show up. Now let's follow them. Okay, that's more of our territory. So that one is resupplying our colony. These are also resupplying all our colonies. So these are the routes that your convoys take to resupply all of your territories and to trade with partnering nations. So what are convoys? Now in the top left, you'll see an icon next to the manpower and to the right of the factories icon. Convoys are essentially ships without guns on them. All they do is they trade resources and extract supplies and all sorts of resource management jobs. That's what they do. They just ferry resources across the sea. And when you send divisions across the sea or start a naval invasion with your divisions, it uses your convoys to do that. You can produce more in the production tab, but for now we've got 300, so we're sitting pretty with that amount of convoys. So now I see why we're not getting any oil. I can't find it in any of our states, just rubber, steel, and aluminum. Well, to get oil otherwise, you can either build oil refineries, or in this case, we're going to trade. This notification here tells us we need oil, so we'll click the trade button. Now when we click it, you'll notice we have a list of countries and a list of resources. So I'll go over the resources. You got oil, which is used for like all sorts of vehicles. Aluminum, typically used for planes. Rubber, used for trucks and tanks. Well, no, trucks and planes typically. Tungsten is used for your artillery and medium tank models. Steel is used for basically everything. Chromium is used for your heavy tanks and your big battleships. So we're going to start off simple. So we need our 10 oil. Now here are all our partners. We're on the Chromium tab. Let's get to oil. Okay, there we go. Now we're on oil. Now you can filter down your neighbors that you could trade with. So I could just trade with like the Middle East by clicking that. We know they got a lot of oil down there. Yeah, that's quite a bit actually. But one of the countries that has the most in the game is the United States. Now, these countries appear in order of how many resources they have. And typically you want to trade with your allies. And here's why. If you trade with countries that have the same government ideology as you, so like since we're democratic as France, we want to trade with someone who's democratic, not communist or fascist, but democratic. If you trade with someone who could be your potential ally or an ally or any country, you give them civilian factories for those resources. So you don't just trade for free. You offer up your civilian factories, and remember what they do is they build new buildings, so you're essentially giving them construction power. I think we're going to give the US construction power, and the reason why is because we're already on good terms and they might join the Allies soon because they are democratic. We can right click them. Yup, they're solid blue. So we're going to go ahead and trade with them for oil. So I'll click on them. Now you'll see the amount of convoys it takes. You'll see all the oil they have, and we have a slider, and it only goes in units of 8. So for every 8 resources you get, you trade a civilian factory. We're going to trade for 16 so we could get that minus 10 out of the way. So when I click send, now we're trading. Now the deficit's still there, and you'll notice also a new line appeared going to the US. That's our trade for oil. You want to keep enemy submarines and enemy warships away from these lines. You want to keep them protected with your own navy. Otherwise, they would sink your convoys and take that oil away, so you can't get it. So you might notice we're still in a deficit though. So why is that? Well, the reason why is because we committed to the trade, but we need to complete the trade. To do so, we just got to hit play, and you'll watch. Yep, there we go, plus 6 oil. As time passes, the trade will complete. So that should be it for trade and resources. And as always, if you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. So stay tuned for part 7.